Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video in the morning. These videos come in the evening, MCQ lessons they come. Both the lessons you need to follow important issues, facts, their explanations, additional details and the articles we are discussing here. And let's start the lesson. 22nd of October it is. October is about to end. Only 8 days are left. So again a time for recalibration, and next week will be very important. 70% off is going on all these courses, and it will be valid till 30th of October. So make a hurry, and these premium videos are available at just 159 rupees per month. For whole month you will be able to watch these videos, PDFs, everything will be available there in just 159 rupees per month. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play. You can download that. Regarding these courses, the description is given below the video. You can call on these two numbers if you face any problem regarding payments, card acceptance, Paytm, anything is there, then you can call on these numbers. Chat section is also available. Telegram channel is given here on this Facebook group, and here you will get the PDF. So send me a request on this group. You can follow me on Instagram too. And some words that I found today. Now the first issue, a very important issue, and it will lead to some big articles in the next week, that new rules will be there to regulate social media by January. Government now says that internet has emerged a potent tool that can cause unimaginable disruption to the democratic polity. That's really a great thing to say. After so many years, government came to know that it can cause unimaginable disruption, and now government has told the Supreme Court for that. They say that by 15th of January 2020, we will bring reviewed guidelines for that, and information technology intermediary guidelines rules, they will be changed and they will be notified. And it's in response to a September 24 order of the court to apprise it of the status of framing the new rules. Means the court asked that what kind of rules you are considering there, what kind of changes will be there. So you give the information about that. So government said that by 15th of January we will prepare them, and there was a petition by Facebook before Supreme Court that government of India insists that we link all the social media profile with the Aadhaar data, and Aadhaar is not a mandatory thing because court had settled this issue in 17 that it's a right to privacy issue, and nobody can force that. But government insists here that if these social media profiles will be there, then Aadhaar data must be linked. Now Facebook openly says that this will surely lose the privacy of individuals, and we will not be responsible for that. So again, we should not be blamed here, and we will not be responsible here. This is the government of India which wants to link up Aadhaar with the social media profiles, and we all know the biometric data is available, and all these issues are connected there. And it is the internet giant, the most expert people on the earth, they are there, and we are giving our Aadhaar data to them. But the government of India is not considering the privacy issue here. So that's something unique. And how much important is that? What kind of dangers are there? Experts are already saying that this is really going to be a surveillance state if Aadhaar data and all these things will be applicable like that. But government wants to chase all the culprits there, all the criminals there who are active there on the platform. Some terrorists are also active there on the platform, and some are dividing the society with provoking posts. But you see, this is also bizarre that government did not see anything in the last 5-6 years when all this ambience was created, this ambience of trolling and the issue which became so poisonous. It started with some memes and jokes and all, and then it has reached up to this poisonous state. Now one good thing is that earlier there were only distortions, fake informations, and all these provoking ideas and dividing people. This was happening on the social media, because you see, the mainstream media, there is no issue to talk about that, because that is totally committed, and that is totally biased today. This can be proved any day. This is shocking that Supreme Court is not saying anything to the mainstream media there. The way they are blinding this nation, the way they are confusing this nation, the way they are destroying this nation, and by spreading misinformations and misinterpretation of the issues and derailing crucial issues and discussing nonsensical things with the country. So Supreme Court is not saying anything to that. That's really shocking. But the social media, earlier there were distortions, now a lot of revelations are also there. Means the raw form of original piece of informations are available. Some videos, some issues regarding the weaker sections, they are available at social media. They would have never appeared on the mainstream media, but they are appearing on the social media there. So these kind of positivities are also there. And if these revelations will come like this on the social media platform, then it will be very difficult for the government, because then they will need to work in a very honest manner, and everything will be open there, and there can be no issues of hiding and going on with the secretive ways. So regarding the issue of rapes, regarding the issues of some crimes, a lot of revelations are there on the social media, and with the help of them a lot of cases are solved. Okay, because if those were not there, then with the help of mainstream media houses, news channels, we could have got totally different information, whether it was the case of some gruesome rape case, some powerful politicians moves, some other things. So, and then these mob lynching videos, they were available only in these social media platforms, not on the mainstream media. So we would have never known that something of this kind is going on in this country or not, and we could have never believed them. So now these things are appearing, so they are revealing a lot about the wrong ways. So now government says that in this phase that some control is needed, and these can lead to unimaginable disruptions. That's really unique. So it is up to you, how do you see these things, and these are all facts that I told you. So we have to frame an opinion here, and that must be constructive and should be based on the facts. This should not be one-sided, because both things I told you, these misinformations, fake informations and distortions, and some provocations are still going on the social media. Every day they are going on, and in both the sides they are going on, but a lot of revelations are also there. So it should not happen that with the new rules all those revelations are controlled and these provocations are going on. That is something to be very much aware about, and it is the responsibility of the people of India, who will be responsible and aware, and they will hold the authorities responsible for that. Next, Kartarpur MOU. It is going to be signed on the 23rd of October between India and Pakistan. 12th of November is the 550th birth anniversary of the religious leader great Guru Nanak, and founder of Sikhism there. So 550th birth anniversary, and he was staying there in the last 18 years of his life in Kartarpur. So highly religious spiritual issue, and the importance is unique. We have very bitter relations with Pakistan, but still this issue is intact there, because the true spiritual sense is totally applicable here. So these kind of things can connect these two countries who are totally tearing apart from each other, and they are two separate nations but consistently fighting. Pakistan is creating problems for India every other day, but still these kind of connections are there between people. You see, gods are not there on the earth. Shri Guru Nanak is not there on the earth, but the people are there in Pakistan, people are there in India, and this connection should be intact. We all know all the people in both the countries, common citizens, they are fighting a battle of development. They want progress, and these are the priority of the people. Religion is something very personal, and it should be collective only when it is positive, it is connecting people. It should never be used against any other community, any other group of people. Positive use is the only thing applicable with religion and spiritual sense, otherwise it is totally personal issue. But in this country, totally negative things are going on, and this is really an unfortunate time, and it is pushing us back to the medieval ages, where we stayed so backward in this world that all these small countries of Europe and all other areas which were not having anything in their hands, they brought colonialism to these great civilizations, and we were fooled by them. We trusted them in the starting, and then they started torturing us, and brutal ways were applied on us. Why? Because we were blind in the medieval ages. We were believing blindly in these issues, and we could not keep the religion as a private and individual issue, and we used religion against each other, and anything could provoke us because we were blind about these things. So religion has only one use, that is positive use, to connect people and to heal our wounds, and these issues should be important for the people, and the people to people connect should always be there. So that's why Kartarpur corridor has a special significance, and the commitment and the dedication for this spiritual sense is very strong there. That's why this should stay there. They should promote it. One controversial issue is the fee, service fee, $20 service fee Pakistan is going to put there, and that's really unjustified, because we know the importance of it, and the poorest of the people, they will want to go there, but this $20 service fee is really huge. And maybe Pakistan is seeing this issue as a important source of income, because Kartarpur corridor is there in Pakistan, it is not in India, so they do not need to come here. People will go from here to Pakistan, so $20 fee will be taken by Pakistan's authority. We urge Pakistan to abolish it, but still this is something which is staying here. Next, winter session. This issue will be important for GS paper 2, importantly, and 1 also, because the religion is at the core of it. Next, winter session from November 18 to December 13. This time it is going to be a short one. Normally it stays till January 1st week, but it will stay there only till December 13. Important issues will be there. Citizenship Amendment Bill, which could not be passed last time, this will be there on the table, and it was an amendment in the 1955 Act. Earlier this issue was there. It became so controversial because deliberately Muslims were omitted from the list there, and they said that all other people who are following these faiths apart from Islam, getting Indian citizenship will be very smooth, will be very easy. Even they lowered the required years there, which were earlier 12 years for the citizenship by naturalization. They have brought it to 6 years for them, and Muslims are deliberately omitted from that list, and they coupled it with the National Register for Citizens. You see, these talks are started from all the public platforms. Important leaders, ministers, they have started talking about this NRC issue throughout the country, and they are saying that we will throw people out from India who are staying here illegally and who do not want India's good. So these are things telling a lot about issues, and Muslims are getting targeted here specially, and it is the government who is deliberately omitting Muslims from that list. That clearly shows that they do not want to give citizenship to Muslims from other areas. So again, we will be pushed into an uncertain battle, and only Hindu Muslim we will see in this country, as we are experiencing these issues for some years now, and this is going to be a very disastrous thing if the communal angle is not taken from it. You see, when Morley-Minto reforms were there and the communal electorate was introduced, this was the seedling of the division of this nation, and we heavily protested against that. When communal award was given to Dalits in 1932 by Ramsay MacDonald, then Gandhiji went on a fast unto death, because he knew this will divide this nation forever. Now this issue is also extremely dangerous. They should not have put these things like that, where deliberately omission was there for Muslims. That means the intention is very, very clear. There is a priority, and there is something which is not likened by the government. So these issues will put this country back into those medieval ages where we stayed blind, we were not aware, and we were fighting with each other. The religious issue, caste issues, they were very prominent, and these all things pushed us into darkness there, and only some elite class people who enjoyed a lot, who were there with the oppressors. And after that we had to make many sacrifices, and people lost their lives. They sacrificed their lives, and it was not like somebody would write a petition for clemency there. And these freedom fighters, they did not become loyal to Britishers, but some became there, and they are held as great today. This is really a unique time for this country, and all people have to think about that. Why we are talking these issues? Because these things are affecting, and this kind of bill will be extremely important. We have to be very much aware about those things. We have to be very much prepared about these kind of battles there, because these things are being pushed. These are not coming naturally, and it's going to be very controversial. There is a clear communal angle in that, and that's why this is really unique. And this bill will be there, and the coupling of NRC can be there, and that we need to be care about. We need to have all the opinions ready for that. Next issue, some ordinances were brought up there, and the rule is there: if the ordinances are brought up in between the sessions, then when the session will start, then within 6 weeks these ordinances, they must be passed, otherwise they will lapse. So the changes in the corporate tax rate was there, and the e-cigarettes were banned. Both these ordinances will be passed, and they will be passed very easily, because the majority is there for the BJP government there in both the houses. Next issue, avoid oil imports from Malaysia. Malaysia is a major palm oil exporter, and Indonesia is the biggest exporter. We imported approximately 9 million tons of palm oil, and out of which around 3 to 3.5 million tons was imported from Malaysia, and the rest of the amount was imported from Indonesia, who is the major palm oil producing country. On the equatorial areas, palm is the important crop, and here Malaysia is a major exporter to India. But now, due to the Prime Minister of Malaysia's remarks on Kashmir issue, Article 370 issue in General Assembly, and a clear support for Pakistan there, Solvent Extractors Association of India, SEA, it's a apex oil trade body that calls something. They say that we should avoid this oil import from Malaysia. And the Zakir Naik's issue is also going on. He is there in Malaysia, and Malaysian government, they did not comply with the Indian request there. So that's why it's a clear fight between India and Malaysia now. It's a verbal fight there, and now we are taking steps to boycott them. And this is going to be important, because it is not by government, it is by a important body, but it's a very influential trade body there, SEA, Solvent Extractors Association of India. So it was the 74th session of General Assembly, UN General Assembly, where Prime Minister of Malaysia, Mahathir bin Mohamad, reportedly remarked that Kashmir has been invaded and occupied, a statement that angered the union government there. So that's the issue important for GS paper 2, and this is going to be another country where we have some better relations there. Malaysia, the Muslim population is too much there, so this issue is really controversial, and especially in this country, India, where a lot of changes, social changes are going on, and due to those factors, these issues are becoming too much negative on us. So that's the issue. Obviously, he should not have commented anything regarding this issue, because he doesn't know about that problem. But the response, is it correct? We need to assess there, because it is the trade issue. It is not something religious or something other optional there. So that was the issue important for GS paper 2 here. Next issue, two ministers, Mr. Piyush Goyal and Dharmendra Pradhan, both in separate statements, they said something about US relationship. They said that it's the best phase in our relation, and the issue of oil and gas import is extremely important here. You see, before 2014, we did not import any oil and gas from US, but after 4 years, we started importing about $6 billion worth from US, and it may go up around $10 billion in this year. Why? Because a lot of problems are there with the Iran import, and now Saudi Aramco's issue, and Saudi Arabia has said a lot of negative things about this oil export there. So that's why we are opting there, and America is a major producer now for oil and the gas there. The shale gas boom is going on in America, and because of that, the international crude oil prices, they were kept low for many years by Arabia. Now this phase is unique. Although America is far away and the transportation charges are too much, but still we are buying oil and gas from America there, and we are advertising it very heavily. It shows that our priorities are changing according to world politics, and we are giving a lot of emphasis to India-America relationships. Every article we discuss this issue, and it is again another addition in the inclination towards American favor there. So that's the issue, and the oil and gas import are going to be touching $10 billion of trade, and it's a import for India there. Okay. So important thing from this article is that how the trajectory changes, and how these Middle East countries, they are struggling a lot, and their trade issues, their export issues are also affected, extremely affected with the American pressure, and how America changes the trade policies of the nation also with the creation of dominance there in those regions. So that's really unique, and how much justified this thing is, we have to see there. Important for GS paper 2 again. Next issue, both regarding US and their troops. In Afghanistan, quietly reducing troops, and they will come down to 8,600 very soon, according to secret reports there. They brought it to 12,000, and there was a huge drop of 2,000 troops there. The issue is not settled till now. Taliban will be way more stronger if these troops will withdraw, but they will stay, but the numbers are decreasing day by day there, and this decision is being implemented there. And in the next issue regarding Syria's issue has become very controversial. Kurds are invaded by Turkish forces, and recently Putin-Erdogan meet was also there. So Putin is certainly gonna support Turkey there, and this issue is going to be very unique there. Why? Because Russia is going to counter America there. America was with Kurds. Kurds are attacked by Turkey. We have criticized Turkey a lot in favor of America there, in favor of American pressure there, and Putin is going to support Turkey there. So this issue is going to be very unique. How we will see the India and Russia's angle here, because both are going to be on a counter position there. So that's unique. And in Syria also, America said that we will keep some troops in Syria. A few days back, 1,000 troops they were called back, and now very less number will stay there, and they are gonna support the Kurds there, the Syrian Democratic Forces. But surely this area is extremely vulnerable now. The group of ISIS that can be reactivated here, because those were not totally devastated. They went to some hidden places, and they were dismantled as a group, but they could not exterminate all these criminals there. And now they were in some camps. Some of them they fled away. Now what's going to happen as a future, we will have to see. Both these issues are important for the global politics and terrorism issue. Next, Australia protests heavily. The newspapers, they protest heavily because some changes were there in the legislations, and the government wants to control the press there, and the press freedom is at stake. So that's why, in a rare show of unity by the usually partisan media industry, they all came out with blacked out front pages there like that. That's really unique, and it shows that globally this issue is going on. Governments do not want to reveal many things, and they do not want revelations there, and a lot of challenges are there because of the true reporting there. And if the true reporting will be there, all the journalists, they will become very honest there, then governments will not be able to do anything, and they are bound to work in a very honest manner. So whole world is facing this issue. For India, it has a very huge significance there, because this is something typical. Our media is not that much courageous anymore. And you talk about the mainstream print media or especially the television media, they are totally flat, and they do not have any ounce of courage there. Committed, biased, misinforming, and they are confusing people, and nothing great we can expect from these people. Very few, and these are rarely present there, who are asking some questions. Otherwise all are a kind of a mouthpiece of particular party there, and they are targeting others, supporting one party, and justifying every move, whether the information is true or false. They will interpret in the favor of one party. So that's going on, and it can be proved any other day. As I told you, Supreme Court is not saying anything to these tendencies in these media houses. This is really the biggest worry there. Otherwise, the biggest crime in the democracy they are making consistently every evening. They are making, not evening, now they are 24/7 active, and every day they are doing this crime with the democracy there, that they are not giving the true information, and they are sidelining all the crucial issues and just making people emotional, provoked, and think. But these kind of examples are important to highlight here. Delhi records over 40% of total crimes. Out of 19 metropolitan cities, Delhi records 40% of all the crimes. This is really concerning. And we all know the Delhi police is under central government there. It's a capital region, and they have the important responsibility there. And this city, the capital of this country, that accounts for 40% of total crimes in these cities. So that's really a huge concern, and we have to see what's going to happen. But certainly I will support this article, because this is totally true. The kind of situation I see here in this city, this is really problematic. But now these are the numbers. So it is released by National Crime Records Bureau. We have to be very much aware about that problem, and a pressure must be there on the central government there. That's the issue. Next, now we come to article. Deepak Nair talks about the important history of Asia and the Asian rise in last 200 years, and in the last 50 years, what just happened. He's talking about that. I have given you a mains question on that, and this issue is going to be extremely important for GS paper 2 and 3 also. Economy is also central to this topic. He says 2 centuries ago, in 1820, Asia accounted for 2/3 of world population, more than a half of world income, more than a half of manufacturing production was there in Asia. Subsequent decline. Why? Because these were hugely cultural societies. These countries had great past, but the negative side of these things means the culture was related to religion also. People became blind. They did not understand the logic of these things, and they became blind followers. So people from outside, they came. The people who were not very much powerful, but they were very much cruel, smart, and they were wicked. So they easily fooled these nations. Colonialism came, and the subsequent decline we saw. We were struggling with the issues of religion, and especially the caste. India society is always divided. Everyone comes with a label, the caste label, and that cannot go away. And people believe in this thing. Even the youngest of the generation, they totally believe in caste. This is the biggest foolishness as a human, that we believe in caste, and it stays there. So we are already divided. There is no push which is needed. Already we are divided, and easily we can be provoked against each other. So this was the easiest task for especially Britishers. They brought colonialism there. And for Asia in 1962, the share in the world income that came to 15% from more than 67%, it came to 15%. And the manufacturing, where it was more than 50%, it came to 6%. In 1970, Asia was the poorest continent, which was the richest, it became the poorest one. Gunnar Myhrvold, a dramatist who published his magnum opus regarding this Asian drama, that brought this reality in his drama there. That was iconic. Now we see the key metrics there. Half the century since then, means today. By 2016, again it accounted for 30% of world income, 40% of manufacturing, and a third of world trade. but this is highly unequal growth, and it is on the similar patterns where there were kings, now there are elite classes and the political parties and the governments there. Only their progress is happening and the poor is become poorer there. Transformation was unequal across countries and between people. Asia's economic transformation in this short time span is almost unprecedented in history. Never any region made this much progress in just 50 years. Reliance on markets that increased, degree of openness that increased, and it varied greatly across the countries because situations were not similar. Chinese growth happened especially after 80s. Indian growth happened in just last 25 or 30 years, and the politics played an important role there. One big difference is there. India's politics is based on religion and caste, especially. We are not much concerned about the developmental issues. We want to hear all these things and we are happy after listening to them. But in reality, we are voting in the name of these issues. Emotions are very much important for us, and emotions drive our decision making. That is a clear example. But that did not happen with the politics of other Asian nations. Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, they made tremendous progress, and they never brought this much emphasis on religion, emotions, or unnecessary nationalism issues and all these things. And they made a progress with the help of their important laws, constitutions, education, health sector, and a national plan was there. Although these were smaller countries, but their dedication was too much, and they were focused on the modern, being a modern state. Today, India is behaving like a foolish nation, like a medieval country where caste is important. Hindus are provoked against Muslims, Muslims are provoked against Hindus, and politicians are openly pushing these things. Nobody is concerned about this push. Media is playing all devastating role, and our growth, economic growth, is on a deceleration. This should have been more than 10%, but we are decelerating here. We are close to 5%, and still we are very much happy because terror camps are attacked in Pakistan, and this issue is not even solved. Many strikes they advertise, but these issues are not even solved, and every time more strikes we will see, and always before the elections and all these issues. And the required progress, the equality, are we getting that? No. So what kind of future we will have, we can imagine here. What these countries did, we have to take inspiration from, and we have to compare. When we see the big picture, then we came to know that this is something which is happening in India, and this is something which happened in these countries. How they made progress, these were the ideas of a modern nation. But here, one side we are pushing digitalization, digital payments, and we talk about the Mars, Moon there, and at one side we are pushing the communal agendas, we are pushing the caste issues there. Look at the condition of the elections there, the kind of money which is spent there, and you see the kind of hunger index which is there in this country, the situation of the poorest people, and it is all in spite of all those schemes. So that's a clear evidence that these schemes are not working in 100% way. There is too much advertisement, but the reality is totally different there, and a lot of reports which are telling the truth. Then they think that the internet is causing unimaginable disruption. So this is something as a pattern we can understand there. And the protest by Australian media, why they are protesting, this is something to be understood here. They are protesting because they know this can be a possibility. Whatever is happening in India, this can be a possibility in the Australia country, if this kind of restriction on will be there on the press freedom there. But in this country, there is no need of press freedom. All are committed there. They have compromised very easily because money and power is the ultimate goal for Indians. What they will do after this money and power, they do not know. That's the problematic and typical condition of the Indian rich. They all want to become rich, but what they will do after being rich, they do not know. They all just waste. So that's why these are something different from the main topic here, but these are totally connected issues. This is not different. This is the core of the issue. This is the core of the typical problem of this country, and that is something happening. That's why we need to recognize that. If we will not identify the problem, we will never reach up to the solution there. So that's why, as it says, there were no universal solutions for the countries. There were no magic wands or silver bullets. Despite such diversity, some common discernible patterns are there. But one thing is similar, that all the countries, they have made a progress which is unequal. Only elites, they have enjoyed. The GDP growth was there related to these people. 1% people are having more than 60% wealth. That is the reality. But collectively, if we see the Asian condition, that has made a tremendous progress there. And we had culture. We were not like Latin American or African countries where no culture was there. There was culture. So we could save some things from colonialism. Everything was not destroyed, and that's why we could progress very fast. We learned from that operation also. That is also to be seen here. So regarding the British phase, one question is always asked: is it totally negative? You see, this was coming as a consequence. We were fooled by Britishers. Why? Because we were not aware. There were some lacks inside us, and that's why we had to go through that phase. But you cannot say that we did not learn from anything from the Britishers. Many of the things, many of the systems, many of the ideas which are leading this nation today, we learned from Britishers there. One only positive thing about that phase, that we learned from our operation. Although those people exploited us, but that thing made us learn a lot of things. This is something which was done by these Asian economies, and that's why the growth was very, very fast. Okay, so we cannot deny some truths there. Unequal outcomes are there. You see, East Asia is very progressive. China, Japan, South Korea, they are extremely developed nations. South Asia did a laggard progress, a mediocre progress, and Southeast Asia was also in middle, and West Asia, really problematic phase is going on. China was the star performer. Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, their progress was great, but after Asian financial crisis of 90s, their progress waned, and they are recovering from that. India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, their progress was great in last 25 or 30 years. Rapid economic growth was there. Massive reduction was there in the absolute poverty. But today, even today, the poorest people are extremely poor, and they are not even able to fill their stomachs every day. So the scale of poverty, absolute poverty, that persists. So that's a problem. And inequality between people, which is rising almost everywhere, and the gap between the richest and the poorest, that is on a rise. Developmental states in Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, they went with coordinated policies, and national developmental objectives were there. So the planning is very important. This is to be seen here. But we have stopped these planning issues. We have abolished planning commission. We brought Niti Aayog, but where is the planning today? There is no target in this country. Everything they push for 2022, now for 2024, and maybe later. But this is not a properly coordinated planning like the planning commission did. This is a problem. In this unequal country, we must have national planning. So this is also a huge problem. You can write a mains question on that. China emulated the model. Vietnam followed that model. And you see, today it is not possible to replicate these states' progress, but we can develop many ways there. Technology is the big helper. Institutionalized checks and balances, they will only help. Means the institutions like RBI, Supreme Court, though these are institutions. The Election Commission, Information Commission, these are the institutions. But they are all facing the crisis-like situation. The autonomy is in a dire state, and even they are propagating these ideas that the situation is very robust and there is no problem of the autonomy, and all are managing everything efficiently. And even the Home Minister said that there is no need to file RTI there. We are making all things open already. This is something very, very bizarre. So that means the checks and balances, they are on a decline in this country. They were there, that's why we made progress. Suppose if Information Commission was not there, RTI was not there, no scams would be revealed. Whatever scam, Colgate, 2G scam, all things were revealed because of the RTI there. Now there is an attack on RTI autonomy, and the conditions are being changed, and they are no more equal to CEC. So these kind of troubles are there, and they are weakening this checks and balance issue. So the progress will be suspicious, because of this only these countries, they made progress, and this is the ultimate need there for a development oriented and people friendly government. Suppose all the journalists they become honest, there will be no path left for the government apart from being honest and working for the people of this country, and making the poorest people stand on their feet and support them and bring them towards the richest people. Here they are pushing them against these rich people, and both are going in a different direction. Poor is becoming poorer, rich is becoming richer. So this is not something a developmental friendly government, and this is all because of the corruption and the nexus issue, and the checks and balances they are becoming weaker and weaker. So we have to see what helped there. Openness helped, industrialization that helped. So strategic integration was there with the world economy for these countries. Economic openness was there, which we allowed in pressure after 1991. But what happened after that? As I always say, India's private sector is really a distorted one. Only some elite companies and the entrepreneurs, they are making progress there. Others are facing a lot of struggles there, and this is very much evident today, where some houses like the Reliance and Adanis and all, they are making profits of lakhs of crores, and others are struggling to survive there. This is really a distorted issue, and this kind of privatization is really problematic. So that's why the economic openness must be equal, a fair competition must be there, privatization must be supported, but the proper privatization must be there. The fairly equal and fairly competitive private sector must be there, otherwise it is going to be more devastating there. And that's why we need to see the people's awareness is of prime importance. It is not the responsibility of the government only. People must be aware, they should demand right information, they should demand proper information there, and the biased media is a bane for this country. And we need to see all these models, we need to understand their ways, and we need to see their important working methods there, and what they took on priority, how they made progress, what were the challenges there. These all things need study. So the higher education institutions are extremely important for India today, but they are facing a crisis. So that's the reality, and out of those facts we have to get solutions there. And the challenges which are here, these are given here, the things that we discussed, and the solutions are there. This article we will discuss tomorrow. Thanks a lot, keep watching. It was